This episode is sponsored by Steep Conversations' favorite, Conjure Tea. Conjure Tea is a woman-owned, black-owned tea business that was founded by pastry chef Shania Thomas Floyd. If you want to support local businesses and drink great tea, Conjure Tea is your answer. The teas I'm digging most right now are Golden Ticket and Decadence. Decadence is a tasty tea that is exactly the combination you'd hope for from a pastry chef. Black tea with rose petals, strawberry pieces, and cocoa nibs. If that's not your bag, you've got to try Golden Ticket, a turmeric-based tea that helps with joint stiffness and inflammation. I was never on the turmeric train before, but let's just say my joints aren't getting any younger, and this is a tasty fix for that problem. The company has been kind enough to give 15% off your first online order to all Steep Conversations listeners by using code STEEP15 on conjuretea.com. That's promo code STEEP15 to get 15% off your first order at conjuretea.com. Do you use the expression AMOS?
No, what's that?
Add me on Snap.
No, I don't. Maybe I'm not cool enough. I don't.
Let me be clear, because I think I may have miscommunicated. I am not cool at all. Okay? There is no part of me that is cool. You are probably, I think, the first guest who I was like, I'm so excited to have you. And you were like, I don't drink tea. I think you were the first, which is fine, which is totally fine. But you were definitely the first person who's like, no, I don't do that.
But I said I'd try because I was like, no. And then I was like, oh, hold on. That's not the way to live your life. You've got to try. So I said, yeah. And I live with tea drinkers. So if I'm not going to drink it, at least, I'm not going to chuck it in the bin or anything. But I'm a hot chocolate kind of, I don't think my palate has evolved enough. Like it's quite a childlike palate I'm dealing with. I don't like wine unless it's free.
I was gonna say, yeah. I don't like anything unless. Here's the thing: when things are free, I like so many more things. Well, I am very excited that you are trying tea. So for those who are steeping with us at home, our steeples, if I must, and I think I must. For the steeple at home, it is Bird and Blend's gingerbread chai. So this is a caffeine-free chai, mainly caffeine-free because I am in the U.S. and Kira, my guest, is joining me all the way across the shores. You can hear from her accent. She's probably not from California. We're doing gingerbread chai. It steeps for 4 minutes and it's at 212, or for my international listeners, 100 degrees Celsius. So it is treated like any herbal tea. You could do it for 4 minutes. You could do it for longer. For gingerbread chai specifically, it's very strong. So I go right around 4. How long did you steep for? Because you're not a tea drinker.
As you were saying that and the degrees and whatnot, I just slapped the kettle on, tea back in. Done.
That's fine.
So I don't think it's going to taste how, the professional tea drinkers. My experience will probably differ. I mean, I think it's fine. It tastes like if you melted a gingerbread man and drank it, I suppose.
Is that good or bad?
Well, I don't know. It depends on if you like gingerbread. Do you know, it's not offensive tea. Like I once had, what's it called? I think you had it, because obviously I am a stan over here, so I listened to it. Oh. You had it in the last one. Is oolong? Bosh? That.
Oolong, really?
Hate it. So, no.
Well, so here's the thing. This is my belief. By the way, love that you're a stan of the pod. Love. The thing about tea is that I think it gets a bad name because people will experience like one type of tea and be like, that's gross. Which like I get. The first time I had jasmine tea, which is a kind of green tea, I was like, pass. I was like, nope, I'm out. I don't want it. I'm good. I was like, no. And eventually over time, I discovered all these different kinds of teas. To me, it's kind of like, have you ever had sticky toffee pudding, like a date cake?
No, I've seen it. It's always on the menus and stuff. I've seen it, and you're
like, no,
I can't. My nan is a huge fan of the sticky toffee pudding, I believe, but I can't get on board. I think is there raisins in it?
Oh, ew! Ah, no. Oh, yeah. Okay, listen. I want to be clear to you and anyone who ever listens to this podcast. Raisins are the most disgusting thing in this world to me, food-wise. Obviously, like genocide's more disgusting, but food-wise, Raisins. Raisins are my genocide food. Like this is going to get me in hot water. I need to get out of this. I need to stop. Raisins to me are demons that hide in your food. That's what raisins are. So I would never eat something with raisins in it.
Vivid.
Do you like raisins?
No, I don't. And I remember finding out when I was a kid that they're dried out grapes.
Yeah.
And I like grapes. So I was like, I don't understand. It's a bit like, if you see a family and everyone in the family is really attractive, and then there's like one person who's like a munter. I don't know if you know what munter means.
No, but I love that, and I want to know all about it. I don't want to be one.
Ugly, unattractive person, a munter. So if someone in the family is like a munter, it's like, how? What happened? That's how I feel about raisins.
I pray I'm not the munter of my family.
Munter. I feel like now you're going to start saying munter all the time, and I love
It's funny. I have a friend here who is British, and I will regularly say things to him, like use expressions that I've heard, and he's like, we don't say that. And I was like, you never like turn to somebody like, you want to have a bit of a chinwag, a bit of a chat? And he's like, no. And I was like, I think you do. And he's like, I don't do that. I was like, okay, fine. What do I know?
Never in my life have I heard someone say chinwag. I'm sure it happens, probably.
Well, he makes fun of me. He's like, I'm from America. I like beer. I'm like, I don't talk like that. I was like, that's not how I sound. So
fair enough. I mean, if you're doing it back and forth, why not?
Now that you've drank a little bit of the tea, do you regret drinking tea? Are you already like, I wish I hadn't done this and I'm going to regret this? Or are you just like, I can handle this. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be?
Yeah, it's fine. It's not, it's not I've hardly drank acid or something. Like, it's all right. I'm not going to rush out and be like a tea connoisseur. It's not changed.
There's a different podcast I'm doing called Acid Drinking. And I'm going to have you on there too.
I'll join you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
That's
good.
the one.
And we're done.
That's how you find out who your friends are.
Oh, God. I want to go back to how we first got introduced. So we were both part of an international short film competition hosted by Soho House. And I remember they named the top 10 finalists. You and I are both in there. And I'm sitting there going, they must have made a mistake. I don't think I'm supposed to be in here. That was my first. I want to know how you got into that competition. What made you do it?
It was basically because during lockdown, I decided I wanted a Soho House membership. I thought, this is what I need.
Oh.
Why? I don't know. This is just what I decided. A family friend was a member at the time. I think she still is. And obviously you need recommendations. So I was like, oh, can you recommend me? And she was like, yeah, of course, fine. And then through that, because she knew I was a writer, she'd seen on Instagram they had posted the thing. And she was like, oh, why don't you do this? And I was like, oh, all right. So I read the brief and I was like, yeah, fine, I could write something for that. Go ahead. And then I did. And that's it.
I love that. I guess I could write something for that. I can do it. So I will.
I was a bit like, I was just sitting there and I thought, I'll try it. Because I think when you're writing stuff, I think it's always good to write for competition. Even if you don't mind if you win or lose, whatever. It's about the brief and just testing yourself kind of, and I guess working the muscle, if you will.
Yeah.
Be that cheesy. So I was like, if I don't get on it, I didn't really mind. But it was more about just seeing, can I write for this? Bob's your uncle. Yeah.
Bob's your, oh man. Okay. I love that phrase so much. It's been used on me like twice in the past month, not in my lifetime. My lifetime probably more, but like twice in the past month. And I always just go, maybe he is. I don't know. Maybe I have an uncle in the fam.
Never looked into it.
No, I haven't.
Wouldn't that be great?
I have not. And you know what? I feel like he's a nice guy. I didn't know anyone else in this competition. Shout out Rebecca Usoro and Kylan. Those two people who were part of the competition, both lovely writers, who from the jump were super friendly. But I didn't really get to know anybody. And then I read your script. I don't know if we've talked about this. Way back in the day, I did musical theater.
I didn't know that.
And so I read your script and it felt like a play. All of a sudden I was there. I was in it. And I was like, oh, this is what I want to be reading right now. Like, this is what I want. This is everything I wanted. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I think I emailed you and was like, I love your script. Essentially, it was like, I love your script. And then in tiny font, this was not in the email, but it was implied. It was like, I love your script. Be my friend. It was really, it was implied. It was a little implication it was like, love your script. Let's be friends. And I was so blown away. And then you sent the nicest email to me being like, I love yours. And then we just talked. And I remember turning to Jess and I was just like, I want to be Kira's friend? Like, why can I want to be long distance besties.
Oh, I love that. I enjoy that. And you were really helpful with like, everyone and their auntie had been telling me, oh, to be a writer, you have to have a forward slash. You have to be a writer and something. And I'm like, I'm not. So my agent was like, you should act. Everyone was like, act. And I was like, well, I suppose, yeah, I ought to, yeah. And then I realised, I don't think I can act. So it's all fun and games suggesting it, but I don't know if I have the skills required. But you were really helpful in like telling me what I could do and like trying the classes and things like that. And I thought, oh, he's a good egg. But I didn't.
Oh, you didn't try the classes?
No, I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. I couldn't. It's just, you have to just believe it. If you're even like one bit not into it, it's just not going to work, I think. You could say that about so many situations in life, but...
I was going to say, like, I mean, take your writing, for example, right? So, like, when you first started getting into writing, and I want to hear about that, when you first started getting into writing, if you had been like, I'm half in, like, I'm 3/4 in, I'm not all the way. How did you get into writing? What brought you there? I want to know all about that because I never got that info from you.
So what happened was actually, I realized I wasn't good at something, so I thought, let me try something else. So I love books. I always got books when I was a kid. Like, my nan would buy me, like, box sets of, like, all the classics and all these different things. So I thought, I want to write books. So I tried writing like short stories, and then I realized I can't sustain a book, my attention span. Gosh, I'd feel like I was writing for ages, and I'd be like thinking, yes, this is like Game of Thrones, like George R.R. Martin, I'm going to make a hefty. And I'd feel like I'd written that much, and it was a page. And I was like, oh, this isn't obviously for me. I need to do something else. So then I went to writing scripts because it's just a lot easier, I think, like writing dialogue and stuff. It's just, yeah, I still get that same thing where I feel like I've been writing for ages, and then I look and I'm like, oh, you've done half a page. Heavens.
That's my everyday.
Hours have gone by. And I'm like, why? Oh no. Help. But yeah, so basically my attention span and inability to sustain, I just wanted to get to the end. It was always the middle. Even with writing, the middle, I can't. There's always my thing. So with a book, your middle is humongous. Whereas in a script, your middle's like 5 to 10 pages, depending on what you're writing.
Well, I was going to say, if it's a movie, your act 2 is your middle, and boy, that can be a hefty
Well, this is why I don't write movies.
I know, I was about to say, yeah.
Can't sustain.
Well, so
No.
So you're reading all these books, you're loving them, you realize you can't write books, you want to write scripts. How did we get there?
I started Googling shows I liked, Googling their scripts and reading their scripts. So just find a show I liked, Google it, see what they did, and then do something else. But the problem I found was I watch American TV. So the first script I ever wrote was an American sitcom type thing.
You're kidding.
You know. Yeah, no, true story. It was just like a run of the mill. Like, it was basically like 3 friends living in a house. 2 of them are cousins. One of them was British.
Has to be.
Got to shout out myself.
Why not?
And it was just like just this normal sitcom. The pilot I wrote was they were on their way somewhere. You don't know where they're going. And it's a flashback to why they're going to where they're going. And it's basically they went to some wedding, and one of them is now outcast from his family because one of the friends ended up sleeping with the groom, but she didn't know it was the groom. So now they're going to the wedding of a relative, and he's been basically banished from the family, and this is his first time back. But I reread it the other day, and I was like, this is terrible.
Oh.
At the time, I thought it was the bee's knees. And I used it for my screenwriting class, and I think I might have got a first. No, I did get a first in screenwriting, so it couldn't have been that awful. But yeah. But it's funny reading your old stuff that you thought was like aces, and you're like, this is not good.
Let me tell you something, okay? The first screenplay that I ever wrote, and I mainly write TV, but the first screenplay that I ever wrote, when I wrote it, I was like, masterpiece. And I'm going to tell you something. No one is ever going to see that for the rest of my life. No one will see it. It's not happening. I don't even want to look at it again. It's like watching a car accident. Like, I just can't, I don't want to watch it.
I feel I need to see it.
No, that'll never happen. So that's your first script. When did you decide, I think I can do this?
With the first one, because at the time I was blissfully unaware of that it was crap because to me it was good, and I thought, yeah, this is it. And I did it initially on Word.
Mine too. Then what happens? Do you just go, I'm just going to submit this to agents or managers, or what do you do?
Well, I actually Googled how to send something to Netflix because I thought I just skipped agents. I just thought I don't need them. I can go straight to the top. And then I quickly realized, no, you can't do that. So I just started bumbling about writing other things.
Yeah.
Because from the things I was reading, it was like, keep writing. You need to have lots of stuff because some people can just, make it off one thing and get an agent, whatever. Some people, you need like 2 samples or 3 samples. So keep writing. And then it wasn't until I did a job as a writer's room assistant that I met the development editor there. And she helped me like perfect a script and a treatment and stuff. And then through that, I then sent it to my now agent who was looking for new clients. So I just sent an email and bish, bash, bosh.
Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your uncle, yeah. That's my story.
Did I use it right there? I tried. Did I nail it?
Yeah, no, that's right. Yes.
You mentioned you were a writer's assistant. What show was that?
It was Breeders with Martin Freeman.
Put Martin Freeman in anything, I'll watch it. Martin Freeman could be reading a DMV pamphlet and I would watch it.
Yeah, it's about it's a very honest look at parenting.
If I'd known you worked on it, I would have watched the whole thing already.
Well, I didn't have to do anything. I was just I was a glorified note taker, if you will, but it was a very enjoyable experience. Like I really liked it. And it was funny because I had nothing but good things to say about it. And those people were like, oh, working in a writer's room 9 times out of 10, they're the worst thing ever. And I was like, oh, well, I had a jolly good time. I don't know that. And every writer's room I've been in has been great. So I don't know what rooms they were in, but I've had a lovely time.
You ended up in another writer's room after that, also as an assistant, or what was the trajectory there?
No, so more recently, because I feel like I have quiet periods and then I have things happening, and then I have quiet periods and I have things happening. So it was 2021. I did a writer's room for an ITV panel show called Sorry I Didn't Know. There isn't a US equivalent, but panel shows where they have the teams. They have to answer questions.
Yeah, like 9 out of 10 cats or like countdown, stuff like that.
Yes, that. Yeah, but it's Black history and it's really good because it's educational, but it's not like we're teaching you things and learn. It's like fun educational.
Oh.
You have a good time. You learn something. It's good. So I did that 2 seasons of that.
Were you writing like jokes or what were trivia questions? How does the writing work on a show like that?
So you write like the intros, the introduction to the games, and some jokes within the intro, outro, ad breaks. And it was interesting for me because I thought, I always think I'm funny. Like I do believe I'm a funny person, but I need
okay.
I need bounce off 9 times out of 10. Like I'm not just, I couldn't do stand up. That's a different, no, that's too hard.
Maybe you could.
No, I just go, drop mic, run into the night. I just couldn't do it.
That makes you intriguing though. People like that. Drop the mic, people like it.
Maybe that's what my set will be.
Well, then you gotta go, it's Kira, bitch, and then drop the mic in your mouth.
Run away. You've paid £70 for this, and this is all you're gonna get.
But you know what though? Sometimes you just need a hint, just a little taste of the goodness. And someone's like, she said 3 words, and the other person goes, that's a legend. That's it.
That's all you needed.
Yeah.
Too much would have been too much. Any more would have been overkill.
Yeah. Get, Ricky Gervais out of here. Where's Kira Porter at? Get her over.
I'd definitely be cheaper.
You could pay me a quarter of what you pay him. I'll come up. I'll do an hour. But here's the thing. No one wants to hear me do it. No one wants to hear like this American guy be like, so the other day, people are like, get out of here. People want to hear like Ricky Gervais get up there and be like mean to people. And everyone's like, yes, Ricky.
I do think it's just the accent, isn't it? I think it's a bit of a trickery. It makes you sound cooler than you are, funnier than you are, suaver than you are. It's just a lie.
There are 2 British comedians that I really, really like. One of them is James Acaster.
Pretty sure he was on Sorry I Didn't Know. I don't want to make that up. I'm pretty sure he was one of the...
Well, that's awesome. The other person who's like on all those panel shows is Joe Lycett.
Oh, yeah.
You know
I know him too.
So funny.
Not personally, but yeah.
Oh yeah, are you two best friends? Is he in the other room? I love that. I don't know him personally.
Like, all British
It's like,
people, we know each other. He's the only one I don't know.
I've been to London a few times, and every time I go, I feel like there are so many cool things to see, and I always want to find out where all the cool people go, and I never end up in those places. Like someone's like, oh, where did you go? I'm like, oh, I went here. They're like, oh. And I'm like, I don't know where to go. It's such a cool city. But I think people hear my accent and they go, send this guy to McDonald's. That's what they do. That's where they send him.
I mean, I wish I could tell you, but I don't think I'm a cool person either. I don't think I go where the cool people go. Every time I go somewhere that I guess is cool, I want to go home. I never like it. So I think I figured out who I am. I'm quite a homebody. I like my house. I like my pajamas. That's my sweet spot. Or I feel like I don't like clubs anymore. I like a quiet bar with a cocktail. That's like, that's where I'm at. I'm not quite sitting in the library by myself. That's too far. But
no, that's some serial killer stuff. I love if someone takes that in context and go, oh, Josh on his podcast said that going to the library makes you a serial killer. In the interest of time, though, I would love to take us to our first segment. Are you ready for the Newly Friend game?
No. I'm nervous.
No. I love that. Are you ready? Nope. The Newly Friend game, it's a lot like the Newlywed game. I am going to ask you a question about a preference of yours. We're both going to write down the answers, see if we get it right. And then we will do the same thing for me, see if we get it right. These are very similar but different questions. Okay?
Okay.
So the question for you, what is your favorite British candy? So like candy bars or things like that. What is your favorite British candy?
Does this include sweets or just like chocolate?
You can include both. I have never heard someone differentiate sweets and chocolate, but I'm into it.
Because otherwise it's quite a big, there's a lot of choice. Oh, God. Oh, okay.
I'm going to write down two answers. On the count of three, we're going to flip our boards. Ready? One, 2, 3. Okay. So I held up a caramello. I can't read your board. What does your board say?
Tony's Chocolonely.
Oh, when did Tony's Chocolonely become the most popular chocolate in the world? I see it everywhere now.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed with it. I discovered it in lockdown in a Sainsbury's and I've never looked back.
It is good.
It's so good.
The second answer, by the way, so I did write caramello on my board. And the second thing I wrote on my board is wine gums.
I love wine gums. No, I really do. They're my top sweet. I get the big bags. Like they come in a little tube, but I'm like, forget the tube. I need a grab bag. And over here they do the red and black pack, so you can buy it. It's just
the best one.
Yeah, so well done. That is true. I do absolutely love wine gum.
I didn't get the primary. I'm going to give myself a half point on the wine gum. I feel confident in the half point.
Yeah, I don't even know what that other one is, actually. I've never seen it before.
A caramello?
Are you sure that's English?
I believe it is.
Caramello.
I mean, listen, I was going to say a flake, and then I pulled back last minute.
Oh, I like a flake, but I prefer a twirl, which is just a flake with a jacket on, really.
A flake with what? Okay, so for those that are listening at home that have not had it, a flake is like, it's like a chocolate candy bar that's got like waves of chocolate in it, but it's all just a chocolate bar. There's nothing fancy. There's no nuts or caramel or nougat or anything. It's just a plain chocolate bar with some different texture. What is a flake with a jacket on?
So basically, a twirl has chocolate around it. So it's like if you took a flake and dipped it in chocolate and then let that chocolate harden. So it's like with a flake, it's all flaky. When as soon as you bite into it, it falls everywhere.
Oh my God, it's a mess.
But with a twirl, because it's got this chocolate jacket on it, when you bite it, it's still got something holding it.
Interesting. Yes. Okay.
I feel like you need to seek out a twirl. See what I mean?
I want one. So for mine, we're going to do. So my question is, what is my favorite English candy bar?
And again, we're doing sweets and chocolate.
Yes.
Both. Do they have that in America, like English sweet shops? Like we have loads of American sweet shops. Do you have like English?
I don't. Shops? Here's what I'm going to say, because my listeners are going to get mad at me. I'm going to say we probably do. And then I'm also going to say I've never seen one. So
I bet. You should make it your mission. Find one. Seek it out.
I'll go look for it. All right. Are you ready? You wrote down what you think my favorite British candy bar is.
Yeah,
okay.
I did too, but I put my main one in a little box
Oh, lovely. Okay, you ready? Flip your boards on 1, 2, and then hold it up close so I can see it.
So I did wine gums because I thought maybe you're into them.
I do love wine gums. I do.
And then I went for a Cadbury cream egg.
Okay. You know what? It's not my favorite, but I don't judge it at all.
Oh, no.
I wrote a mint Aero bar.
Oh, that's so rogue. I do like a mint Aero. I do. But
Is that a British, was I okay? Was that a British candy?
Yeah, that's legit.
Love a mint Aero bar. Delicious. I don't know why I like Aero bars so much, but I really do.
I'm surprised they're in America, actually. I don't know. I feel like not everyone loves them because they're minty, aren't they? A bit. Well, obviously it's in the name.
I was going to say, I love that. It's minty, right? Is it? Might be.
A little bit.
How's your overall experience with the Newly Friend game? I feel like you didn't love it.
Here's the thing. I act like I'm like not competitive, but I am. I like to win things. And even though it was just a bit of fun, I wanted to win.
We got half a point as a team. We're a team in this. We're not against each other. We're a team. And we got half a point, which is not bad. I've had guests where we don't even come close.
That's better than nothing, yes.
I once had a guest where I made a guess and the guest just looked at me and was like, what? No. And I was like, that you don't have to be offended. You don't have to be offended at my guess. You just say no. Like, you don't need to be mad about it.
At the end of each season, are you going to do like my favorite episodes?
Well, you're competitive, so you probably want to be in there, don't you?
Well, if I'm not, I'm going to just send a strongly worded email.
To who? To me?
Anyone.
Okay.
Everyone in my emails. Just an email blast, like, to whom it may concern.
Sure.
I've been attacked, victimized.
I was going to say, you've been attacked. I get. Do you ever post, like, are you big on social media at all? Do you use a lot of social media?
I don't actually. The only thing I have is a Twitter with nothing on it and a TikTok, again, with nothing on it. But it's because my friends and family kept sending me TikToks and it wouldn't let me see it. It's like, ooh, you need to sign up. So I did. And I have a Snapchat.
Okay, wait. So you do have 3. You're like, I don't use it. I've got like 17, but I don't use it.
The only one I use like actively, other than to watch things, is Snapchat. Because it's weird, I'll talk to my friends on Snapchat, but then also text them. It's like, we could just text.
Is it inappropriate stuff you're talking about on Snapchat? Why Snapchat for something?
Do you know what it is? Sometimes, right, because I don't have an Instagram, and if I don't want to give someone my number, I might be like, you can have my Snapchat.
Do you use the expression AMOS?
No, what's that?
Add me on Snap.
No, I don't. Maybe I'm not cool enough. I don't.
Let me be clear, because I think I may have miscommunicated. I am not cool at all. Okay? There is no part of me that is cool. I learned some things from watching TikTok, other stuff like that, where someone might say something and I might go, oh, I didn't know that. AMOS. I didn't know that. But like, even as I say AMOS, I sound like growing up, I was really big into hip hop, and my dad equally was supportive of my listening habits, but also would make fun of me. So he would do both. So we'd be in the car with my friends, mind you. My friends are with me. He'd be like, yeah, Josh was listening to some Tupac Shakur earlier. Should we listen to that? And I was like, why? Why? You know that's not how it's pronounced. I was like, you know that. And he's like, no, Tupac Shakur. Yeah. Should we listen to it?
Oh, God.
Also, I'm from New York, so I also listened to a lot of Notorious B.I.G. growing up. And my dad would be like, you know who I am? Notorious D.A.D.
Oh,
and I was like, stop it right now.
Oh, God. No, thank you.
I feel like that's how I sound when I'm like, add me on Snap. I'm him now. Sound like I'm 1,000.
I feel like Snapchat isn't an all ages experience. I feel like not everyone has a Snap. And also, if you have a Snap, it's like you said, it's like, what do you need a Snap for? What are you doing? Like,
I don't have one.
It's a bit like I feel like some people think if you're up to no good.
You are. Snap is where you send all the inappropriate stuff.
The nudes.
Yeah. All the.
No, I don't. Well, I think it depends on who you are and who you want to send. Have I seen them? Of course I have, but haven't we all on Snapchat?
Let me tell you something. I have received them. That is true. I have never sent one And I will tell you why. Okay?
Please
I don't take issue. Whoever you are and you want to send a picture, that's fine. Number one, my knowledge of lighting is not great. So already it's not going to look wonderful. I know that. Number two, no one who meets me looks at me and goes, you know why I'm attracted to him? His body. No one's doing that. No one is going, that hunk? Let me see more of that body. No one's doing that.
At least you're a person that was looking for permission. Because I think a lot of girls and guys probably out there are getting, nobody asked you for this. And then like once I was talking to a guy, it was years ago, I think I was about 19. And he was like, good morning. I was like, oh, morning. Dick pic. Why?
What?
How did we get?
Wait a minute.
It was so random. Yeah.
I thought there was a rule like no dick pics before noon. That was something I just assumed because that's just too early for I just like get it out of here. Like bat it away.
Yeah, no, me too. I was as surprised as you were.
This is a terrible question. After he sends that, do you write back, cool, so how's your day going? Like, how do you get out of that? Like, how do you just go, okay, well, I'm going to get coffee. Have a good day. Like, how do you just like run away from that?
I block people. I am a blocker. I mean, it doesn't take much for me to block you. I'm just, who has the time? Who has the time to explain the rules of the land? Not I. So, but also it depends on who they are. He was just a rando. I don't even think I knew Geezer's last name. And you think I want to see your piece? No, at least.
Oh, you didn't know? We don't know this guy at all. He's just like a rando on like a dating app or something.
Yeah, I don't know him from Adam, and I was like, no, thank you, no.
I would like to know someone's like last name and maybe like their favorite food before someone's sending me a pic. We should be far enough down the line where I can say confidently, I know a few things about this person.
Yes, but no, that's not where it's an ick, I suppose.
I will use this opportunity, by the way, to take us to our second segment. Are you ready to teach me something?
Yes. Well,
you sound wholly unconfident right now. You're like,
do you know?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I suppose because I have two, I guess, fun facts, if you will. So basically, I learned about this. I don't know when, and I don't know how, and I don't know why I know this. And you may already know this. So if you know this fact already, I'll give you my second fact. So like on milk, you have like the date. It has to be chucked out or like used by, sell by date things. They exist because of Al Capone. So it's because of him. Because his cousin or something drank milk that was off and got sick. So he like bought a dairy mill or dairy farm or dairy something or other and made it so you have to have these labels on milk.
Hold on. Al Capone, Al Capone, the one that we all know.
Yeah, that geezer, yeah.
Yeah, the one who caused a lot of problems. This gentleman is the reason that we all have expiration dates on milk?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, I really like you. And so I'm going to trust that you're telling me the truth. But this sounds insane. Like, this sounds so implausible.
I think it's true. It might be one of those things you hear that isn't, but I believe it's true. But also, how dumb do you have to be to not know the milk's off? It friggin' stinks. I don't understand.
Gross. I want to ask you, because that you've already nailed it. I want to know what the second fact was.
Well, basically, I'm left-handed. So growing up, my nan would always like get me left-handed things so I didn't feel like such a outcast, right? And like books with like things about left-handed people, cups that were for left-handed people. So I was always looking for like who was left-handed, like Barack Obama, he's left-handed. And then I learned polar bears are left-handed, or so I thought. So for years, I was living a lie, thinking polar bears were left-handed. In actual fact, if anything, they're ambidextrous. So the fact is they're ambidextrous, not left-handed.
Okay. Who came up to you and goes, hey, Kira, I got something to tell you. And you go, sure. And they go, obviously, this makes sense in our conversation. Polar bears, they're left-handed. Who gave you that information where you go, I'm committing this to memory?
I don't even know. I have no idea. It is a common misconception, though. So I'm not alone.
So commonly, in a regular day, People just go, hey, what did you want to do for lunch? Oh, I don't know. Oh, speaking of lunch, did you know polar bears are left-handed? Yeah, I knew that. Yeah. Why would you share that with me? It's commonly understood. Yeah, I guess it is. I don't know how commonly that's misconstrued. Oh, it is.
Well, it must be, because how did I get this information?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to get to the bottom of. I just love, by the way, that we've now established two different things that you chose not to Google. You were just like, yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Seems right.
Sometimes you have to just go with your gut.
Wait, but okay, so we got so far distracted from your writing. And I want to touch on that a little bit because I know that we're rounding the bases of the podcast. And I would be remiss if I didn't get to ask you more about your writing. So we talked about the first script you ever wrote. What was the first thing you ever wrote that you got to see, whether it was performed on a stage or you made a film or you wrote something that was done on BBC or Channel 4? Like, what was the first time you got to see something you wrote actually made or occur?
It was the BBC 3 Laugh Lessons.
Is that the one that I saw?
It is, yeah. So that little comedy short, it's like 3 minutes or something. And that was the first one. And my little cousin's in it as well. So that was nice, keeping it in the family. But then the problem with that was I also had to see myself. So I was like, oh, God. Oh, no.
So you couldn't see past yourself to be like, this is good.
I find it quite hard to like my own stuff. Like, in a way, it's a bit like, I don't know, once I've done it, once I've written something and I've done it, and I'm like, yeah, that was good, okay. And then I move on from it. So then once I've done it and I'm rewatching it, it's like, okay, yeah, what's my next thing?
Interesting.
I'm just a bit detached.
Are you someone, and I'm asking this as someone who has this problem, I want to be clear. Are you someone who is unable to celebrate your little victories? Are you kind of someone who's like, oh, I did a thing, but like, cool, what's the next thing I have to do?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Why do we do this?
But do you know what? I think some people think that's negative Nancy-ish. I personally think it's a good thing because then you don't get complacent. You don't settle. You just keep trucking on. But then it's like, I guess, will you ever be satisfied? I don't know.
Okay, so like if I asked you right now what your dream is as a writer, what's your ultimate dream?
I suppose, well, writing my own like series or whatever. But I think even after a while, I'd probably not necessarily want to write anymore. I think I'd want to show run something else maybe, because when it's yours, I don't think I'd ever be satisfied with my own work. But if I was show running someone else's show, I could be like, yeah, this is, yeah, good, great, fine. And I could keep doing it. Like, because that's how you really make money. If you can keep doing a show forever, like Family Guy, for example.
Sure.
But if it was, I wouldn't want to keep doing it. I'd want to do like 3 seasons and done, 3 seasons and done. And then I feel like there's a certain amount of stories I want to tell. And once I've done that many, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm not going to keep doing it I have a set amount of things I want to say. And once I've said them all, I'm going to move on to doing something else.
If you had your choice between running your own show for a couple seasons or running multiple other shows, which would you rather do? Like, what gives you more satisfaction? The longevity of one or the self-expression of the other?
I don't know. I feel like you yourself have a window. So you've got to do it. You've got to get in there. And otherwise, if you spend your time doing other people's things, you might miss the stories you have might have missed their window of opportunity because no one wants those stories anymore, or you don't want to tell those stories anymore. And then, so I think I pick mine first.
My question is, when does my window open? Am I supposed to know when that happens? Because I mean, it's feeling rather stuffy in here. Someone should open that window. It's feeling I'm feeling real stuffy.
I feel like you just have to just keep the crude expression, keep throwing shit at the wall until it sticks. So you're just constantly hoping. I guess that's the problem because I myself don't know when my window is. I feel like I keep being on the cusp of it being slightly ajar and then the wind comes and shoves it shut again. So I'm like...
As it does, as wind tends to do.
Yeah. I guess you have to also be satisfied with an alternative. And lots of people say to me, you shouldn't think of an alternative. Like, if you want to write, that's what you do. I'm also, I guess, a pessimist, some may say.
Sure, me too.
But I see it as a realist. I think it's always good to prepare something else you like. So if writing doesn't work out, I need to know I like doing this instead. Because otherwise, gosh, you're just going to be really depressed, aren't you?
Yeah, probably. Listen, I think I can get depressed all on my own. I don't need anyone's help. I don't need to prepare anything. I can handle that. But I do think that's the best time to go into our final segment. Are you ready for the lightning round? 5 questions. They're fast questions. They don't have to be fast answers. So take as much time. We can have a conversation after each one if you want. I'm fine with it.
Okay.
First question, what is a favorite ritual of yours? So mine is brewing tea. What would be one of yours?
Do you know what? I suppose doing my hair is a bit of a ritual because it's not like
It
wash
is a ritual.
and done. You've got to do like the sections. You've got to do your leave-in conditioner. You've got to do your curling cream. You've got to brush out each section. Sometimes diffuse if you have the time.
I don't even know what that means.
A diffuser. So it's like this little thing that goes on the end of the blow dryer for curly hair, and it helps your curls.
That's a great ritual. Question 2, what is a running bit you have with a friend or partner that makes you laugh?
Do you know what? I am a big fan of a that's what she said or a that's what he said. And I do it to my nan. So a lot of times if my nan says something, I'll go, that's what she said. And she gets quite annoyed. She's not amused. But she says she's not amused, but she's laughing internally, I can tell.
Yeah, I'll bet. How old is she, if you don't mind me asking?
She's in her 60s. I want to say 64,
Oh,
65.
that is not old at all. I feel like she's got to know that that's what she said shtick. Like, she's got to be familiar with
She
it.
knows what it is. She just says I'm inappropriate and I have no boundaries.
Question 3 is a tough one. Can you do an impression of one or both of your parents?
I suppose my mum, she always says I don't do her very well. I do think myself that I think it's borderline spot on. But the family don't seem to agree with me. But sometimes I'm like, are you just jealous that I'm so funny? I don't know.
Well, you got to give it to us now.
Oh, see, I guess I can do whatever I want because you don't know Delaney. So it could be spot on. You have no idea. Okay, well, I spoke to my mum the other day. And as she was hanging up the phone, she was like, so I was like, okay, I'll speak to you later, Mum. She was like, yeah, all right, darling, keep your chins up. Chins. Plural. So
No!
I got off the phone and I was like, hang on, what she said? So I called her back. She didn't answer and I thought, she's running scared. She regrets what she said. And finally she calls me back. I said, Mother, I heard what you said. Chins up. And so she's hysterically laughing. She was like, no, darling. I said chins plural, as in you and your sister, not your chins. But now you've brought it to my attention. That is very funny. That's a good one, actually. Chins up. I tend to make her sound a bit Essexy. And she's not that Essex. She's like Essex adjacent.
I didn't want to say anything, but obviously as an American, I could clearly tell that you were making her sound more Essexy than she is. I just knew. I knew, and it's a problem. Question 4, have you ever had imposter syndrome? And if so, is there a particular moment that you think about?
I guess all the time, because a lot of the time I'm in jobs I am actually underqualified for. So it's quite, I deserve it. It's quite right. I should feel that way because I really shouldn't be here. I don't have the credentials.
I literally...
Even when you asked me to be on this, I was like, I don't know what I'm bringing to the table, but okay, sure, won't say no.
But so that's what's so funny. When I was talking to Lucas about having you on, he said, oh, how do you know her? And I said, I read her writing before I got to talk to her about anything else and already knew that I was a fan. Like, I liked your writing before we ever emailed. For me, I was like, I really want to talk to this person, mainly just to steal writing tips from you. But also, no. But for real, like, I do think it's so funny that you thought my list was long. I was sitting there in that intro call being like, I'm like, let me think of other credits. One time I jumped rope for more than a minute. So
does that count?
That's something.
No, but even like on
like,
the podcast, like even reading on your podcast I listen on Spotify. The Spotifyers out there.
Lovely, please
when
do.
When you click like the people's like the bios of the synopses of the show and you say what they've done, and I thought, Christ, what is he going to make up for me? Kira is alive and breathing.
I'm gonna yes. So here's what I'm gonna write. I'm gonna say Kira does an impression of her mother that is slightly Essexy, and she writes some things. Ladies and gentlemen, Kira Porter. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, and she has a Snapchat because she's up to no good.
I was going to say, and then I'm going to say, she introduced the phrase AMOS, add me on Snap. That wasn't from me. That was all Kira.
Oh, God. I'll take it.
Final question. Here's the thing. The final question is technically, what is your favorite tea or comfort? But you don't like tea. So what is your favorite comfort?
feel like if I say an alcoholic beverage, it makes me seem like a problem child. So
No, I love that answer. I love it. I love it. Well, actually, it depends which one. It depends. If it's like a gross one, I don't love it. If it's a tasty one, I like it.
Well, it depends on what you find gross and what you find tasty.
A vodka Red Bull, I don't find tasty.
I don't like Red Bulls, full stop. So mixing it with a spirit is just...
Me too.
I don't see why. Whose idea was that?
It's gross.
It's stupid. But no, I do like a vodka and Coke. I know. I've liked the same drink since I was about 14. And I've stuck with it and stuck by it. And it has yet to do me... Well, no, I've made some faux pas.
As have we all.
But I'm alive, so it hasn't failed me that badly. But I like a cocktail. I like a frozen strawberry daiquiri or a tequila sunrise.
Yes.
You know, they make you feel exotic.
Okay, I like both of those.
Beach. Yeah. But no, I think, like, I really like thunder and rain sounds. Like, I make my Google, like, to go to bed, I put on thunder and rain sounds. And that is like...
Yeah, me
with
too.
my electric blanket on, I'm all warm and cozy, and it's just... That's my vibe.
Can I tell you a very quick, funny story?
Yeah.
I only write to thunder and rain.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So I am sitting at this table at a coffee shop, and this woman who is English, coincidentally, comes up to me. I have my headphones in. Comes up and she goes, "Oh, it's bloody hot out there, right?" And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Oh, I was just saying it's very hot out there." And I was like, yeah, it is. Yep. She's like, "Oh, I didn't mean to bother you. I've got work to do. I'm just going to do it next to you." And I was like, "Sure, okay, that's fine." And we started talking, and she's very friendly. Believe it or not, we're friends to this day.
No way.
I swear that's true. I swear, like, her name is Lindsay. We're friends to this day. We start talking, and I said, "I'm sorry I didn't hear you before. I was listening to, when I'm working, I listen to thunder and rain." And she goes, "Where?" And I said, it's on YouTube. I just listened to like a YouTube video." And she goes, "I work in podcasts, and I produce nature sound podcasts, and I'll bet it's one of ours."
Was it?
It was.
What?
It was hers. I know. It is. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to send you the video I use. It's not a loop. They literally recorded a rainstorm for 8 hours, and it is different and it varies. It's lovely.
Do you know what my fear is of using like YouTube for things? Because once I think I used it, and obviously it kept playing. It just goes on to the next thing. And it was like, because it was like soothing, it was meant to be soothing sounds or whatever, but it came on, it was like the sound of someone getting their hair cut. I don't know why, but I heard, and I had headphones in, and I just heard like zzz, coming towards my ear. So I was like, ah!
No.
So ever since, I was like, YouTube at bedtime, I can't, no, thank you.
You can you could find it on Spotify. It's a Spotify podcast. I will send you the link. If anybody else wants this link at home, tweet us, comment on Instagram, whatever you want to do. Kira Porter, how do you feel? Do you feel good?
Yeah, I feel good. I feel pumped. And I feel wide awake. And it's like I should be getting ready for bed, really. But I feel I'm alert. So,
well, Kira, thank you. I adore you. I'm going to come to London. We're going to hang out, if that's cool with you.
That sounds good. Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, of course.
It's been a blast.
That was Kira Porter. You can find her on Twitter at Porter Shakira, Shikira. Steep Conversations is produced and edited by Lucas Marshka. Our theme song and additional music are by Oliver Hymack. Our cover art was done by Neil Fraser with photography by Matt Mazisco. Social media by Dia Villegas. Please write a review and rate our podcast on Apple Podcasts and wherever else you can. You can send any questions, comments, newly friend game suggestions, or tea suggestions to steepcombos@gmail.com or tweet us at steepcombos. I'm Josh Lanzette, and you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Josh Lanzette. We'll be back next week, so until then, happy steeping.